And I wonder if he'll just go like, I'm going to bring my rook back, and then...
He was reaching for his queen, or he's reaching for the black pawn. He's reaching for the black pawn, but this is going to surely guarantee a draw. We've actually shown this variation. Magnus can pretty much force it here and now.
Oh. And you can see how dissatisfied Hikaru is with having to make that move.
Oh, yeah, that was a reluctant move. The best move probably was to bring the white rook back, but that in itself, not fun, having just made the journey from that square. Also, what next? That would have been a big question. But now we've mentioned that Magnus can just eliminate this bishop. Hikaru cannot retake on that square. Hikaru will need to take this black bishop, but everything's just fizzling out. The whole board is about to clear up. He needs a miracle now, Hikaru. He needs Magnus to just blunder. It's that simple. He needs Magnus to have a blind spot.
Yeah, but now you're looking at the time again, right? You're going back to that point you were making, Tanya. Perhaps that could have been a weapon for Hikaru if he managed to put Magnus in time trouble around this point in the game, but that's just not the case. Over a half hour still left to work with here for Magnus Carlsen, plus 30 seconds per move.
I mean, if anyone, it's Magnus, right, who can use that as a weapon, and he's about to make his move, about to grab the bishop, the line that we saw where eventually black will also pick up the pawn once Hikaru's made his move, and you've got a 4 versus 4 coming up next with just the queens and the rook remaining. There's nothing to fight for. In fact, it will be Magnus's queen and rook which will be more active in that position.
Yeah, we should mention now, Magnus only has one move to keep the balance, but it is quite an obvious move, at this high level at least. The white knight is en prise, as we would say in chess. That means it's attacked. You can pick it up at will. But taking this knight now would drop the black knight in the center of the board, and white has a 1-pawn advantage. This looks great for Hikaru. So if the black knight is going to drop anyway, then selling it for the highest possible price is the best option. I think we'll see Magnus play this move any second. He looks ready to play. You can take this pawn in the process, threatening a nasty knight fork. And now, if the black knight is captured, only then do you take the white knight. Magnus, of course, has played the best move, finds it instantly. This is heading towards a draw now for Hikaru Nakamura.
Yeah, there you have it. An exclamation point given to both players because they're finding the perfect moves that the engine likes to get towards that equivalent position. But like we said, Hikaru Nakamura is no engine. He needs more than zeros in this one. He needs to take a victory. And as more and more pieces look to be falling off the board, the tools in his toolkit get worse and worse.
And Hikaru's done nothing wrong in this game.
That's the thing.
He's played actually incredibly strong chess, creating chances against Magnus Carlsen. But just asking for a big win against the world #1 is perhaps asking for too much, and I think Magnus Carlsen is about to win his first slam.
Any other day of the week, this is a game you would love to play against Magnus Carlsen. You would come away happy with the result that you're about to arrive to in this one. I'll just call out for everybody at home as well. They are currently both at 98% accuracy, so there's just about no better that either of them could have played in this game, and that's the thing. On the day, Magnus Carlsen is in his best form, Hikaru as well, but it's about what happened yesterday that ultimately will look to be the decider in this final.
But Hikaru, he keeps going. He's not giving up just yet. Had he picked up that knight, that would be game over, match over, championship over on the spot. Hikaru gets the knight to the middle of the board, and now Magnus's knight has to find a good square. And there aren't so many to fall back on. The center square not available. If you move towards the left side, you can land up in a disastrous spin along the diagonal. Bar still level. How careful does Magnus need to be on this move?
He doesn't need to be too careful. Luckily for Magnus, there are multiple ways to save this knight. Going back is actually totally fine. Probably not the most accurate, but I wouldn't be surprised if, there we go, Magnus attacks the white knight. I was going to say, this is the most forcing by far calculation. You always look for checks first. There were no good checks. You look for captures next. There were no good captures. Next, you look for threats. And this white knight is threatened. If it ever moves anywhere, black lands a deadly fork, hitting the king, hitting the rook. This is just game over. So the knight cannot move. That means you have to take the black knight. Then the white knight will fall, and same problem. 4 pawns each, only queens and rooks. Totally dead level. Magnus is putting it in the bank now.
He's putting on the finishing touches, right, in such a brilliant way, too. Again, for as much of an impressive performance this has been from Hikaru as he tries to strike back on day 2, it's been as impressive here for Magnus to kind of just play it near perfectly from end to end.
It's been about the details, right, for Magnus here. I mean, you can go on a passive defense or you can go on an aggressive one. And I think he spoke about the piece activity. He continues that story. He doesn't think about retreating. He's going for the most direct forced option. And there we see the only remaining minors are off the board. A queen and a rook dynamic. Equal number of pawns. One more about to be traded. Magnus Carlsen moments away from winning the Paris Slam.
Oh, Hikaru's reaching for the pawn. We will see a queen trade. It's going to be a handshake any moment now. They're just going to go through the motions here. Once queens come off the board, rook endgames, with that drawish tendency, this one is going to be locked down and in the bank for for Magnus Carlsen. Hikaru, he's not even taking his hand off the pen. He's ready to sign the score sheets. It's going to be a draw very soon.
The checkered flag is waving over the checkered board right now. Magnus Carlsen cruising to victory with the queen trade. There they go, off the board.
Black rook is coming in to restore the material balance, win the pawn back.
And if anything, it's Hikaru's pawns that are going to be a big weakness. Absolutely nothing to fight for. And I think it could be now that they'll have a bit of an eye contact, a draw offer made. Magnus, he's going to step up with his king and then use the rook laterally to defend the pawns. Look at the way the moves are coming in fast and quick. Confident of a hold here.
Yeah, rook and 3 pawns apiece here. And again, so much time on the clock for both players, but we've already whittled our way down to such an endgame that there is no real time trouble for maybe a mistake to be made like happened just yesterday.
This is move 36. There are no draw offers allowed until move 40. So it's just a matter of time. 4 more moves that this game will last before Magnus Carlsen is able to boast of this Grand Slam title.
Looking to crown himself the second Grand Slam winner of the year 2025 here in Paris, France.
It might even happen before move 40. Both players, you know, the realization on them. For Magnus, he's fought for it. He's dreamt of it. Didn't happen in Bison House. Missed it. You could see it, how much he wanted it. And finally, it's about to happen here.
Rook slides over.
Just defend that pawn. You could also do it with your own rook. Or get the king closer to it. No bad moves in this position for Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, even if you blunder a pawn, you're probably still fine with a draw. But of course, Magnus defends his pawn right now. We will see the white rook either give the black king a check or go pawn hunting on the other side of the board. The problem is the black rook, too active as well, will also be able to hunt down some pawns. This board is totally clearing up now. It feels like Hikaru, these days, he just doesn't have that same fire, that hunger that he did for chaos. When he was younger, when he broke into the world top 10, top 20, he was just a firebrand, attack, attack, attack. Now it's just about grinding opponents down in an endgame, and that's impossible to do against Magnus. That's the one area where Magnus is better than all. Unfortunately for Hikaru, the strengths just overlapping each other, and Magnus is just that 5%, that maybe even less, that 1% better.
Exactly. I mean, this is a perfect display of how, you know, close these two players are in skill level and ability.
A check. We might see a repetition right now with Magnus falling back with his king, attacking the rook. Hikaru giving up on his chances. Doesn't even do that. You want to play? I'm ready for a game.
Yeah, no repetition at play just yet. And still we edge closer to that 40th move, the possible draw offer to bring this game to a conclusion.
He knows it.
Magnus was checking the score sheet there. Not ready to offer the draw yet, but only 2 moves time. Same for Hikaru, looks at the score sheet. This is move 38. We're expecting 2 moves each. And then the handshake. Then the draw. Wow, what a game. It feels like a missed chance again for Nakamura. He played so well. Just maybe one decision to retreat a piece earlier. Just losing that valuable move. You don't get many chances against Magnus. He created a half chance, I'm going to say, but couldn't capitalize on that.
No regrets for, I think, Hikaru in this game as big as the one from yesterday. I think when he looks back at this match, it will come down to that one moment.
Yeah, you are exactly right. If anything will be replayed, it is that first day of the finals. He was done no favors by the position lottery, right? And still, he did his best to create some winning chances, maybe once or twice in this one. Was there an opening? But either way, Magnus is playing to near perfection. Rooks find new targets. More pawns will fall off the board. We inch ever closer to our next champion here on the Freestyle Chess Grand Slam Tour.
And there you have it. Draw for Magnus about to win the Paris Slam, and there it is.
He's championed the format, and now he crowns himself champion here in Paris, France. Your second champion on the 2025 Freestyle Chess Grand Slam Tour is none other than the world #1, Magnus Carlsen.
And not too much chat from the players. Brief congratulations from the arbiter, Hikaru, as well, offering his sign of respect to Magnus there. But ultimately, it was a very level game. Magnus, well deserved.